Good afternoon. A very warm welcome to all of you who have joined us this afternoon. My name is Lisa Dazel. I'm from the UNISA Directorate for Counselling and Career Development. And we are very grateful this afternoon to welcome our speaker to us. But before we start with the formal program, I just want to tell you more about how this session will work. So we have invited Mr. Gideon Mohammed to share with us his wisdom in terms of using LinkedIn to ignite career opportunities. And he will specifically be looking at how we can build brand equity or our personal brand using the LinkedIn platform. So I'm just going to introduce our speaker to you. After that, he will then share his presentation with us. As you are listening to the presentation, you are welcome to ask any questions you have in the chat. As you are listening and you're thinking about questions, we also have scheduled time at the end of the presentation where you would be able to ask your questions live. So for now, your camera and your video is disabled, but during Q&A time, we will then be able to open the microphones and you'll be able to engage with Mr. Mohammed. I just ask that on the chat, please just don't share any personal information. That means your personal cell phone number, your Gmail address, and things like that, so that we are just protecting all of you and your privacy. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Mohammed, and I also have my other colleague with me, Mr. Beki Mzobe, and I will invite him at the end of the session to end off the session for us. So Mr. Gideon Mohammed is a seasoned project manager. He also holds an MBA, and he's a prominent figure in the finance and insurance sectors. With a wealth of experience in building insurance and finance systems, he has left an indelible mark on organizations across the globe, from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange to the Uganda, Nairobi, Jamaica, Trinidad and Barbados stock exchanges. He has lent his expertise to streamline operations and drive growth. Not only does Mr. Mohammed excel in the corporate realm, but he also serves as the president of a Toastmasters Club meeting at Dimension Data. With a passion for helping SMEs thrive, they have assisted numerous businesses in crafting effective strategies, from brand development to marketing initiatives. Now, Gideon is dedicated to sharing his insights on personal branding through LinkedIn, empowering individuals to leverage this powerful platform for professional growth. Join us as they share their expertise and guide you on this journey to building a strong personal brand in the digital age. Gideon, you are welcome to this platform, and we are very much looking forward to the wisdom that you've got to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Folks, I must say I did not pay her to say all these nice things about me. But nevertheless, thank you so much. And yes, good afternoon, folks. And it's truly a pleasure to be part of you today and be given this opportunity to share what I have prepared for you. But before we actually get into the presentation itself, I'd like to take you into a bit of my head. All right, let's play and imagine. Imagine you are invited into a career fair, right? You are invited into a career fair, and inside, at that place, rather, at that event, if I can call it that, there's different kinds of people. You have coaches, you have recruiters, you have business people, you have professionals, you have execs, you have operations people, and all of that, right? And in the middle of that event as well, there's some keynote speeches. So we have some people like you, Gideon, coming to the stage and giving presentations. You have different kinds of people coming from different professionalities, giving their insights as well. And in the middle of that event, we break away. People break away, and it's now time for networking. So you are given an opportunity to go meet somebody that you wouldn't have met. And let's say you come across a gentleman by the name of, we'll call him Mr. Khumalo. And then you start having a conversation with Mr. Khumalo. He introduces himself, you introduce yourself, and you just kick it off. Everything just flows, the conversation goes well, and you ask the right questions, he gives the right answers, he asks the right questions, you give the right answers, and it comes to seem as if there's a relationship that's building. And then your break time ends. Now everybody has to disperse and go back to their seats, right? So here's a question I'd like to pose with you. After you leave Mr. Khumalo, what do you think is the first thing he's going to do? I'll give you an answer for that. He will look you up on the internet. He'll go directly to the internet and try to find out who exactly is this person that I've just engaged with and got these kinds of information from. So when he goes to the internet and looks you up, most likely the first place he will land on, especially if you guys met at a professional platform, he will find you on LinkedIn. So that's the reason for our talk today. The question is now, if Mr. Khumalo had to go and look you up on the internet and he's a professional person, maybe he's a recruiter or an executive or anyone that is high ranking, and they find you on LinkedIn, what is it exactly that they will see? So the talk for today is building brand equity using the actual tool LinkedIn. So how can you build yourself as a brand and build that equity using that tool? So that's what we will be talking through today. So just to give you a little bit of a scope or an agenda of what we will be looking at, obviously we'll start off by talking about the brand, what brand equity is, and get an understanding of the word itself and the term. And then as soon as we're done with it, we then look at or outline rather some few fun facts about LinkedIn and where it is in the realm of all these applications that exist. We'll then move into learning a few lessons why people use this tool. Matter of fact, this segment, we will be learning why you will be using this tool, because there's many of them and you can't be using LinkedIn as you would use any other tool. And then after that, I'll give you some few top tips on how you can build yourself in this platform as a brand. And what we will do, if we have some time, we'll go through some form of a demonstration of how you do this, and we will create a few of some posts and so on and so forth that are specific to the tool itself. And then we'll open up for questions and answers. But however, you're welcome to drop your questions on the chat while we are speaking. And then if possible, I can answer them while I go through. Otherwise, we will collate them at the end and then get them going. Right, so to start off, if I may, if the chats are open, if I may ask, what is brand equity? If you're able to type, just give me an indication on the chats of what you think brand equity is to you.
Thank you, Gideon. Yes, the chat is open. If there is anybody who would want to make a live comment, you could also raise your hand. Then I'll unmute the microphone. But please, chat. I'll use the chat facility to post a comment.
See, I see a known user says that, of course, they'll Google you. That's exactly
Yes.
what's going to happen. So the value that you have accumulated against what you have achieved. I think that's a phenomenal answer. Who else would like to give it a go? Perhaps don't even Google it. It's just the first thing that comes to your mind, the value of your brand. I like it. You can see the parallels from this, the value, and brand. Who are you as a person? Love it. Brand equity is a space where you market yourself. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So we'll leave it at that, all right? So in my own words, I think if we had to look at brand equity itself, we would have to dissect the word. So the word from brand and the word equity, all right? So if you have a better understanding of what a brand is, it will translate into you having a better understanding of what equity is. So what is a brand? Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, says that a brand is something that people say about you when you're not in the room. All right. So a brand is something that people say about you when you're not in the room. Be it as a positive thing or a negative thing, that is the brand. So I would challenge you to ask yourself as well, what do people say about you when you are not in the room? Obviously, you're not there, you're not going to know, but you should have an idea. What kind of a brand are you taking out there? And then what is equity? Linking the answers that you've just gave on the chat as well. Equity is your value. Equity is the worth. It's wealth. If you are from finance or you've done accounting or anything of that sort, you would know that you would have assets minus liabilities, which will give you your equity. So what you own subtracted by what you have will give you that worth. Right, so this is something you built. So if you have to combine the two, brand equity is something, the value of what people are saying about you when you are not there. So that's something that you want to mold. That's something that you want to take control of and put it out there. And using LinkedIn as a tool is basically what you would be doing. So a brand equity is the value of what people say about you when you're not in the room. So there's see next slide. There's a gentleman by the name of Leo Bear, who runs the company, an advertising company called Leo Benet, sorry. And he says that products are made in the factory, but brands are created in the mind. So that's the idea of what we're trying to do here. So products are created in the factory and brands are created in the mind. And you can think of Coca-Cola, any big brands, Coca-Cola, Nike, and so on and so forth. But if we had to look at Coca-Cola specifically, the product Coke is what is created in the factory. But the moment you see the logo for Coca-Cola, it exudes some form of emotions and some feelings that you get vested on it. So that's what a brand is, and it has a value. Take that logo and put it anywhere else. So that's what brand equity is all about. So to jump into LinkedIn as well, a couple of fun facts about it. So LinkedIn was founded by one of the guys that found PayPal. You can look up the story. And then it was later on bought by Microsoft. And the reason why Microsoft bought LinkedIn is they wanted to incorporate it to Outlook. So the email tool that Microsoft has, it's for professionals, and they looked and saw that Google has Gmail and they're buying everything and they're winning the market share in that regard. And they thought, what if we also get something similar to that, and that would aid us as well into building our own organization in that regard, and what can we mix it with? So they went on and bought LinkedIn. And then you can obviously look up that story in the internet and how much they bought it for and the reasons for that thereof. But if we had to look at LinkedIn and its users, in the beginning of 2000 or 2023 rather, there were 900 million users on LinkedIn. So we're now sitting on 2024, there's more, all right? So you can already tell that that's a platform that has so many people. And then there's some stats around it as well. So LinkedIn is expected to have a user base or population of 1 billion by 2025. So as soon as you get yourself an account and get in there, you are part of that entire community and you have access to most of it. So as mentioned, the expected number of users in 2015 is 1 billion. And in terms of the job market, right, it is said that the number of job applications that are on LinkedIn approximately is around 90 jobs that are posted per minute. And the number of people that are employed, on average, eight people are employed per minute in the platform as well. So you can tell that this platform is specific in terms of what it is catering for. So you would think of other platforms, think of TikTok and so on and so forth. And you start thinking about the job market as well. And this would be the tool that you go in here for. This is what people are using it for. So another stats in terms of demographics, who is using this platform? A huge amount of people that are using this platform, which is around 20.4% of LinkedIn users worldwide are millennials. So the younger generation is moving into the professional space, and they're also using this platform to basically get into the job market and build their businesses and so on and so forth. So if we were to look at LinkedIn worldwide, and I would say that maybe pay some attention to Africa or even South Africa, you'd see that it's around 10 million plus users that are in this platform. And then you can also see all over the world actually in terms of who is there. Right, so those are the fun facts about the tool itself and the amount of people and amount of user base it basically has. So if we're to look at now, why would people use this platform, right? Or why would you use this platform? Firstly, the platform is used, and it's important to pay attention to this so that you don't get derailed and use it for something else, because now that would impede your brand itself. So the first thing to look at people use this for is to research. So people use the platform to research other people. So for instance, Mr. Khumalo met with you, he will come here to look for you. And people also use this platform to research other companies. So you would come into the platform to research another company for that. So people use it to look for people, and they use it to look for companies. And people use this to reunite. Again, going back to Mr. Khumalo, you would see that with Mr. Khumalo, the connection that you will be building from it, rather, let me put it this way. So if you come to the platform, you probably have colleagues from work. If you've been employed previously, you probably have colleagues from school and so on and so forth. And some of them have moved into different professional areas that you would like to reunite with them and reconnect. And later on, we'll speak of the value of doing that as well. So the platform is used for that, to reunite. And another reason, which is the big one, we've just shared the stats of that thereof, is to recruit. So people use it to uncover potential job opportunities. And job opportunities as well are looking for people in the platform as well. And the other one is some recommendations. So people build new network relationships with people who may influence your potential customers and so on and so forth. And we'll have a look at that later on as well. So for instance, if Mr. Khumalo has met me and he would like to recommend me for a specific job, then he would use the platform to introduce me there. So those are the 4 reasons that the platform is used for. So if you use it for anything outside than that, then you might be losing the purpose. All right, so some tips of how you can use the platform to build your brand. So the first tip to look into is your profile. Okay, I'm trying to find with my slides here. Okay, just a few seconds. All right, so your profile. So the first thing you need to look into, and at the end of these tips, I'll just take you through a little demo of how you do this. The first thing you want to look to is your profile. How is my profile after creating it looking like? So the first thing you want to do is create or revisit your LinkedIn profile. What usually happens is we create accounts in a lot of platforms and sometimes we leave them. Sometimes we lose the password or sometimes we don't log in or whatever it is. So what you want to do is look at your profile. How is it looking like? You may ask, what is a profile, right? So a profile is basically, I would call it a digital cabinet. So it's a cabinet that would house your CV, and then it would house your business cards. It would house your file of portfolios and projects. It will have your employment history. It will have your experiences. It will have all of that. So you want to look at your profile and see how detailed is it. And if you had Mr. Khumalo coming to the platform, what will he find? And with that stuff in the cabinet, speak to your brand. So the profile is the first thing that you would look into. So gone are the days where you would have to go and print out business cards that you hand over to people if you're running a business. Gone are the days where you would have to print out CVs and go stand outside a manufacturing company to hand it over to someone and so on and so forth. This is a place where all of it is basically happening. So that's tip number 1, look at the profile, and we'll delve slightly deep into it. And then the next thing is your photo. You must upload your image. It is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Right, so when Mr. Khumalo comes into your profile, he searches you, he finds you. The first thing that he would go looking for is your face, right? So the image that's there is the one that basically sets the tone for everything else. So that's important to look into. So when people land on your profile, the picture is the first thing that they see. And when they see that picture, it tells them a lot. It tells them a lot. Again, to go back to the fact that LinkedIn as a tool is meant for a different purpose than the other ones. So you would want to look at the type of a picture that you uploaded, right? And you wouldn't want to put, actually for all the platforms, not only LinkedIn, you wouldn't want to post onto the internet anything that you wouldn't want your own mother to see. So just bear that in mind. However, we'll, so when it comes to having your photo, make sure that it's there and it's professional. It is the first thing that sets the tone and it speaks to everything else. So you may ask, how, Gideon, should I take the photo, right? And my answer would be, to make a good impression, you would have to upload a headshot, right? Where I am now in my room is I'm standing. So you might want to take a picture of you standing and make sure that the half part of you is shown the way I'm appearing on the screen with you now. And so you might want to know, okay, that's a headshot of taking a picture. Then what should I wear? Should I wear like a jacket like I am now? Should I be formal? How should I look like? And the answer for that is dress the way you would dress when you go to work. So what kind of a job are you looking for? So if you are a chef, you want to have a chef attire on your profile, right? If you're an engineer, you want to wear like an engineer and put on whatever engineer cap that would be there, and your suit perhaps. If you're playing tennis, if you're a business coach, you want to wear the part. So dress for the brand that you're trying to create. So another question that you might have is, how can I make my picture professional, right? There's multiple ways you can make your picture professional. I mean, we don't all have professional, expensive cameras that we can take photos with and get the best lightings out there. But you can take your picture, all right, your headshot where you're standing and looking on the side, and make sure that you crop it half. So that's the first thing you'd look at. So, and then once you've uploaded your picture, LinkedIn will allow you to crop it into half. It will allow you to adjust your contrast. So take advantage of that. So make sure that you look at how bright the image is and just turn out the filters. Just add a little bit of a touch so that your picture looks professional. You don't want something that looks dull or that looks like it was taken somewhere in the bushes or wherever, because that also sets the precedence of who you are when somebody comes into the platform itself. So pay a good attention to that. You also want to pay good attention into your lighting. So if you want to take your picture, I would suggest you take it outside so that the lighting comes in very well. You don't want to have a blurry or dark type of picture that doesn't speak to what brand you're trying to build. You would notice when I take you through my profile right now that I have a different picture than what I'm actually expressing to you now, because I had a specific Mr. Khumalo that I was looking for, and I was trying to tell them that. But these are the suggested ways you could look into making your photo pop out, if I could call it that. So the next tip is, so you've looked at your profile, you've looked at the image. Now the next tip is to look at what LinkedIn is for: employment and education. So you want to present your work as well as your knowledge. So your employment history and educations, like I said, are one of the key elements of LinkedIn that make this platform a professional platform, right? So you want to fully update the things that are speaking to the professionalism and your brand that you're building on here. So what you would want, or how you would want to do this is you would want to put in all your employment history, stuff that you would put on your CV, and then you would also want to put in a summary. Remember, when Mr. Khumalo comes, there's going to be a lot of information for him. This is a cabinet that's full of CVs, business cards, and so on and so forth. So we'd want to add a summary that explains exactly who you are and that aligns with your brand, and doesn't only align with your brand, but aligns with your story. What is it that you're trying to tell Mr. Khumalo as he comes in? And you might also want to ask, Gideon, I worked in different areas of my life. Do I add all my employment history? Do I add all my qualifications? Well, we are usually pushed to want to do that because we want to be appealing to Mr. Khumalo as he comes in into our platform. But then again, remember, the brand is in your control. What do you want to appear as a professional in? So I know I used to work for my cousin's business at his saloon, and then I went to school and did other things and had different, employment histories and so on and so forth. I also worked as a call center agent and did multiple things, but it came a time where I was like, okay, I'm in this field and I would like to build myself as this kind of a brand. What can I share on my CV and what can I share on my LinkedIn platform? So maybe be careful of just adding everything. Just think of what you want to appear as and then just add that. So we will also look at how to play around with employment and education when I take you through the demo. Okay, next. There we go. The skills. So you want to add and update your top skills. We look at that as well. So this is a functionality that you need to also take advantage of. Maybe quickly before I speak to that, let me see if there's any questions or anything on the chats. I'm loving the interactions. Been LinkedIn account for a few years. Recently, I lost my details. I'm not able. Love it. Perfect, Ashley. Go back, find it, update it before somebody else finds it and find the information they shouldn't. Another fun fact: there are 430,719 UNISA alumni in LinkedIn. Definitely, Leza, take advantage of that. Would you say that this is a better way of finding a job than using other sites like Career24? I would say that it's more effective, but you want to explore all your options, right? But I assure you, whatever post you put on Career Junction, the same people will go on LinkedIn and search you there. Is it useful to use the connect function on LinkedIn if you have made connections? And how do you approach them? All right, let me show you the demo later on, and let's see if it answers your question. Are we supposed to see slides? Yes, you're supposed to see slides. Are you guys not seeing the slides? Leza, can you confirm? Okay, I'll upload pictures or halfway. Do I need to take a professional picture for my profile? I think we've answered that. Are you supposed to see slides? If yes, you cannot see the slide in the presenter video. You could try to leave and rejoin again. Oh my word, no. Leza, are you there? Are you able to confirm if? Okay, can you see the slides?
Yes, I just sometimes with the network connections, when you connect to Teams, then it only like you can only hear the audio, so it normally helps to leave and just come back.
Okay, okay. Do you let me know if I'm not projecting anymore?
I will definitely.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so we'll go back to the chats. I'm loving the interactions in there, so keep the questions and the comments coming in. So the next part is your skills, right? It's important to go back to your skills because this functionality, firstly, I must say that you need to take advantage of it. So one of the ways you are found on LinkedIn is through this as well. So if you know the concept of SEOs, search engine optimizations, when Google is ranking people to say that if you're searching for a specific skill, find this person, and so on and so forth, LinkedIn has the same functionality to say that for the top 3 skills, these are the people that are out there, you know, in terms of their interaction and so on and so forth. And with your skill sets as well, LinkedIn can also pick it up on its SEO. So you want to make sure that you have the first 3 skills for your brand. You have to be deliberate with them and make sure that they are updated on LinkedIn. And we have a look at that as well. So those are the things that will be picked up and will be found by Mr. Khumalo. So the tips on taking advantage of these skills is the first 3, like I said, you put them on, and once they show, you put them on, and then once people are searching for you, this is what will come through. And LinkedIn also allows you to have, for instance, you can have 10 skill sets. It allows you to move your top 3 ones to the top, so you can reorder that. Secondly, you can get endorsed. So if you have the 3 skills, and perhaps Mr. Khumalo is an exec, you could have a conversation with him and say, can I, on LinkedIn, ask you to endorse these 3 skills? And seeing you being a prominent person endorsing my skills will actually get me more recruitable. So you'd want to take those skills, take them up, and then there's a functionality to ask for endorsement. Last but not least, right? These skills are not cast in stone, so you want to regularly review them and change them. You would see that I was also and still is going through career transitions, moving from from operational staff to management staff to business staff to coaching and so on and so forth. So my skill set is changing, and I'm always reinventing myself as a brand, right? So you want to regularly review them and change them if there's a need. So they're not cast in stone, so you can take advantage by making sure that you put the best and first 3 on top. The next thing to look at is networking. So you want to build your connect, and there's no such thing as a self-made anything. You'd hear people saying that I'm a self-made millionaire, self-made, I did this on my own. The truth is we were all introduced to something by someone, right? So you want to build a network, and you want to build a strong network of people that can aid you and assist you to your next career level. The author of, or the former exec rather of Yahoo, Tim Sanders, says a popular quote, which is, your network is your net worth, right? Back to that equity. Your network is also, your value. So the people you have around you. So in LinkedIn, unlike your TikToks or anything of that sort, you don't have to have 1 billion followers, right? If you have 50 followers of good people, then you've won half the race. So you want to build your net worth using your network, and building and using your brand as well. And by doing this, you want it to be done by expanding your reach to the right people. So how can you expand your reach to the right people? The first thing you would want to do is you would want to be introduced. So today I'm giving this talk. It's easy for me because there's already visibility to come and interact with each one of you. And you'd say, oh no, this is that guy that gave that delivery at the career fair. So I will interact with him. But if you've never seen me before and I just come to introduce myself or do anything, it just becomes spam. It's the same with you and Mr. Khumalo. If you haven't met at that event, then there's no trust whatsoever. So you would want to first create that trust, and then ask, once you have the trust, for the person you'd like to connect with, you would want to ask to be introduced to. So if Mr. Khumalo is, let's say you're a chef, in his connection, there's a particular person that's running a restaurant that you would like to be part of or want to work for, you can just DM Mr. Khumalo and say, Mr. Khumalo, can I be introduced to this person? I see he's on your network and you guys are close. I would like to be part of their network. All right. And when that person connects with you, it's also good or important to actually create your brand and make sure that your profile is fully updated with the right information that would make you the real deal. And you won't be some person that's like, I'm needy, so come help me. Because a lot of people usually shy away from just helping somebody that's in need. They're always asking, what value are you adding? What problems are you solving? So what you want to do is you want to build that connection, ask to be introduced, and come to your profile, and then make sure that it's good. So how can you make your profile good for networking? One of the things that I think it's underrated tools, especially when you're looking for employment or anything of that sort, is creating blog posts and creating articles. So if you can be able to do that, you're basically setting yourself apart from other professionals or brands that are coming in. You're saying that I'm an expert in a particular area, and you will go and connect with people in that area, and then you start interacting with them. They send articles or blog posts, you like, you share your views on them, and you start becoming part of that circle. And what you do as well, you start writing articles, what you're going through, or what you're thinking, or what you've learned, or what you could add in somebody's what value you would add in somebody else's world with regards of to what you know. So that's something you can do for your network and building your network as well. So that's exactly how you could build your brand. And then we'll just quickly have see, we slightly short of time. I'll quickly give you a bit of my view of my profile and how you can do this. So the tips is create a profile, make sure you have a photo uploaded and it's professional, present your education and your work history, and then add relevant skills. Remember the 3 skills, make sure that those skills are your top skills, because you will be found with those skills and you will be ranked on top based on them, and you must go back to them and then reorder them. And make sure you improve your network. When you improve your network, when they come to your profile, they need to find articles, they need to find blog posts, they need to see that you're an expert in what you basically working on. So gone are the days of here's my CV, go have a read, and so on and so forth. You need to build yourself as a product, as a brand, and have that value. Okay, I'll just end it there with my presentation and quickly see if there's any further questions. Yes, if you cannot see the slide, half picture, headshots, specific that wonderful. What if you work in 2 different fields or have experiences in 2 different fields? You're welcome to have a dual brand, right? You want to attract a certain audience and another audience. So this is a good question, because I also exist in more than one area. But won't that leave a gap in your CV if you omit certain jobs? Look, you want to add into your CV and your LinkedIn what you want to be hired for. I worked for my cousin at a salon. I don't want to work with her anymore, so there's no need to put that in there. And there's other courses that I did. It's not relevant to my brand that I'm creating, so I'm not putting them in there. But if I'm telling a story to say that I first started working at a car wash, and then I got a bursary, and this happened, if it forms part of your brand and your story, perfect. Can someone let me in? Please, I'm kicked out. Somebody's kicked out. I'm not sure which information to put on my profile. BI, how to attract recruiters. Okay, I love this question. All right, let me quickly share my profile. And then what I'd like us to do at the end is test if it's possible to get either an interview or get a recruiter onto your profile. So I'm going to give you a challenge. And if you take this challenge, I spoke to one company, and I will be reaching out to more companies. and ask them to be Mr. Khumalo's at a blog post that I will add, and I'd like you to have access to and share your thoughts on. Okay. So this is my profile. So when you log into your profile, in terms of creating a profile, I mean, we don't have time to go through all of that. You can always just Google how that is done and so on and so forth. But when you come to your profile and it's already created, you would see on the left here a summary of who you are, which matters the most. And again, Mr. Khumalo will see this more than anything. So you want to be deliberate with it. It is not a headshot, like I said, because I had a specific story I was trying to tell. So if you go to view my profile, or you can even click there, you'll see the summary, my name, so you can add that. You would see the tag, very important. People that have done an MBA will make noise about it. They would want to put it here. So why not? My background and experience is on project management and Agile Scrum Master. I do sit in boards, in advisory boards and boards of directors. So I did put in there that I'm a board member. And I do not list all the companies that I sit on. And I'm also a club president of 4th Dimension Toastmasters Club, right? So that's a summary of who I am. And there's a banner or background as well that you want to look at. I've launched a YouTube channel, and I'm creating myself as the one product. So this is changing as well. So going back to reinventing yourself and having your brand and your skill sets and what you have to offer evolving is worth a while as well. So sooner or later, this will be updated as well. So I want to draw your attention here as well to what's suggested for you. You see that I'm rated as an intermediate. So there's 7 things that I need to fill in, and I did not fill in everything. I see we are still running out of time. Who can tell me what is missing from my profile that I did not put in there? Let's see on the chat.
Naya is saying that your summary is missing, Gideon.
100%, 100%, Naya. That's exactly what's missing and very important. And the summary will basically be everything that is 100% the bio summary. So everything that is in your cabinet. So a person needs to come here and know everything about you. All right. Just quickly add my summary here for the bio. Save. Okay, so we have a view of who I am, and then there's some activities and so on and so forth. And then let's come to, I want to draw your attention again to the experiences. Even the experiences, like the skills themselves, you can reorder by when you've started and ended. So you see that I'm a president of a 4th Dimension Toastmasters Club at Dimension Data, and I got the post this date, and I'm still involved there now. And what you want to do as well is you want to explain or express exactly what you do, all right, with your experience. I did mention that I do have a seat in multiple boards. The one that I really, really care about is this one, because it speaks to the world that I'm in now of finance and insurance. I put in that as well, and what I basically help them with. as my corporate career as well as a project manager and a Scrum Master and project manager and Scrum Master. So in terms of being able to see what you can move on top, add a position. Okay, you can just add a position and add career break. Okay, cool. Let's perhaps just skip that one because it will get me talking more. Let's go to the skills that I've mentioned. Scroll down. So there's my education. There's the skills. Remember what you get to be searched on. So if you click plus, it's not plus actually. You should be able to reorder. Reorder. So your top 3 skills, that's what you'll be searched on. So maybe I want to go back to my job doing Microsoft SQL stuff. Then it will be on top. And the second one, and so on and so forth. All right. So you want to do that. So the top 3 ones, when Mr. Khumalo or anyone that's searching you, especially recruiters, when they're looking for people, these 3 skill sets will basically bring them to your account. All right. Another thing is I mentioned that you want to be introduced to, you want Mr. Khumalo to introduce you. Okay, I saw the premium question. I'll come to that just now. So you want Mr. Khumalo to introduce you to people, and when they come here, they need to see a professional. They need to see, you know, something that will add value in their own life, so that they can be part of, you know, your connect as well. So what you would want to do is you would want to start building your own content. Right, you're a chef, you want to write about some chef stuff and so on and so forth. So there's 2 things you can do here. You can start a post, a little small blog post, or you can write an article. And it's important to write articles because writing an article makes you a proper professional. So you are a subject matter expert to what you are doing. So that's the brand you're trying to create. And then the posts, obviously, you can always do that. For instance, today I was invited to come here, right? And perhaps I want that to be part of my brand, if I can call it that. So I can just add in the fact that, you know, I'm incredibly honored to be part of UNISA and this program that's happening. And I can just add a picture and then upload. And then what I want to do is now Mr. Khumalo is watching, and that alumni list of people is there. Perhaps I want to put in UNISA and hashtag it for now. And boom. I can put in a post. Something as simple as that will go to your network, and when Mr. Khumalo comes in, they will see that you were once, you know, involved in something of this sort. You can write an article. I have different accounts, obviously, so I'll use the account that I'm logged in as. Very important. Maybe the article is what I took you guys through today. So I'll share that with you. The article is building yourself as a brand using LinkedIn, and then you should be able to go and become Mr. Khumalo and find me. And then when you find me, I'll tell you what the challenge is. And then Here's an article. Okay. Oops. And then just say, say hashtag UNISA. So the challenge is now you want to tap into MyConnect. Perhaps I know somebody that is hiring. Perhaps I could assist in one way or another. What I will do is I'll just add in the link to that blog post. So the challenge is if you can go to the article that was created, leave a comment on what you thought of the presentation, all right? Did you gain value, what you liked about it, what you remembered the most, you know, what you resonated with, and so on and so forth. So leave something there. And then another challenge that I would like you to do is go back to your profile, make sure, or your account, make sure your profile is there, make sure that your picture is uploaded, make sure that your job history and the skill sets are there, and make sure that your LinkedIn account is updated. And yeah, and then we'll just leave it at that. And then, like I said, there's one company that I spoke to that is always searching and looking for talent. I will direct them to the same article. And if you are contacted or you get an interview, and if that interview results to anything, rather, please come back to the same article and share your testament. And let's see if this platform and creating a network in that regard is helpful. So to wrap up, I will answer that question and then I'll hand over back to you, Leza. So thanks for the presentation. Great. I'm connected via my phone. Can you please provide your contact details in the chat box? Okay, definitely. You can use that link, but I'll share my LinkedIn details as well. There's a question I was leaving. Oh, premium. So premium, I wouldn't, I mean, if there's no need to put in premium, for instance, I know there's a functionality on premium that basically comes to me and says, and aids you or assists you in getting me to introduce you to someone from my network. So there's a streamline there. But you know what, if there's no need to pay money for that, I wouldn't do it. But there's a lot of functionalities that you would get if you had to go in there. So I would take that question and put it back to you and say, go review you know, the opportunities that you would get from using LinkedIn Premium, and then make a decision if it's something that you would like to invest on. But as soon as you you know, got into exact levels and your brand is now that kind of big, I would advise you to basically go for premium. I'm for sure not on premium. Thank you for the presentation. When writing articles on LinkedIn, must they be specifically about your career, or can they be other topics? To answer that, I would say you want to go back to what do I want these people to have a conversation about in a room that I'm not in, right? So if you would put everything that's related to nothing, then there's nothing to say about you. So you want to be focused, right? But if it's something that's adding to your story and your brand, by all means add it. For instance, if there's a journey where you started, I make an example of, I used to wash cars. From washing cars, I got a bursary. From a bursary, I got a VEC work where I work for my cousin doing hair, and then, but that tells you a story of tenacity or commitments or anything of that sort, and it speaks to my brand, then by all means. I hope that answers your question. Hi Gideon, thanks for a great presentation. Phenomenal. I appreciate the tokens of appreciations, and I would encourage you to go back and find this article, leave the post there, make sure your LinkedIn account is created, and let's see how many people we can get to this post, and you know, encourage people to let us in and to open doors and give us those opportunities. Yeah. Are there any further questions? Leza, do I still have time to take more questions?
Yep, I think there was an important question, you know, from somebody who asked about if you haven't got work experience, or maybe not a lot of work experience. I'll use the extreme example of somebody, they finished school, they now studied at UNISA, but they haven't got any work experience. They've just been studying. So do you have any tips to share for somebody who hasn't got a lot of experience? What are some of the things that we need to start thinking about as we are studying, you know, to be able to build our brand professionally, even though we may not have formal work experience?
Definitely. That's a brilliant question, by the way. That's a brilliant question. And my short answer would be, gone are the days where, I know this is going to sting rather. Gone are the days where you would say, I can't do nothing because I don't have a job. I can't do nothing because, you know, I don't have employment. So you want to, like I say, build that experience. You want to take that control. Recruiters are there, but you take control of your own experience. Create content. While you're still in UNISA and studying, this is a time where you're going to sit in a class where you are being taught different things in your areas of study. So you want to, the knowledge that you're getting there, you want to come back and do what I just did. Write a blog post about it, especially if you found something that, you know what, as soon as I graduate, I want to be that. Start creating that content. Set up a timeline and say maybe one article per week, put it up there. And when an employer comes, they won't find your work experience and all of that, but they will find tips they can use in their own business. And if they can find tips that they can use in their own business, they can go to a professional, a person that knows more about that particular area, and they will call them. So please take advantage of the articles, creating these articles and creating content. If you can add in videos and talk about you know, that area, it's more engaging. I think LinkedIn is also reforming itself to take advantage of all those kind of groups. So I would advise you and encourage you to start even today. Write something, create your profile, and start doing that. I hope that answers your question. But everyone needs to start somewhere.
Yeah, thank you, Gideon. And also, you know, as we saw on your profile, as you were scrolling, it's important, or there is a section, for example, on your profile where you could add, for example, volunteering experience. So don't disregard, you know, any community experience or formal volunteering that you've completed, because that also talks about your brand and your commitment, you know, to your community.
Definitely.
I just wanted to come back. There was a question earlier about, you know, not being sure or about, what to put in your profile. For example, as you were talking about the skills, I was thinking about, you started by saying, why do we need to use, excuse me, LinkedIn? And the first thing that you mentioned was research. So just from my own experience and conversations with other people, it is quite helpful to go and take a look at what do employers want. So again, using LinkedIn to do that kind of research about, if you are interested, let's say you're studying human resource management, you go and take a look at a couple of advertisements that have been placed on LinkedIn. Go and look at, what kind of skills are employers looking for? What are the job requirements? And then, coming back to the word of really being intentional to try and see that with what I've got, how does that match to what employers are looking for? How could I use the words that employers are using on my profile, so that I am easier to find? Because recruiters, as you've mentioned, they use these keywords to search for specific profiles. So it would be important for you to talk their language. And the way that you can talk their language is by doing the research then on LinkedIn. So I'm not sure if there's anything else you can add to that, Gideon.
Definitely. I think that's a mouthful. So you like the keywords, they speak to your brand, how you look, how the entire feel of the platform as well tells everything. So when these employers and recruiters come, they need to find, that being shared. Definitely, totally agree. I see, Leza, if granted, a question on, can I attach my CV? I think that's a brilliant question. Definitely, yes. So we'll go back to the profile. I hope I can find this. So if I edit my profile, actually, when you're looking for a job, right? I think this will answer, how do you search for jobs? You come here at jobs and you're looking for a company or whatever it is job you're looking for, and the place that you would like to work on, and you want to work remotely and so on and so forth. The job tab is for that. And to answer the question of, can I upload my CV? Definitely. And I think you should. It's a good question. So LinkedIn can help you build your own resume. So you can use that functionality. I'm not going to click it. And then you can go to click on application setup. And then you'll see here if you've applied before. As soon as you apply for a job, you will be asked to add in a CV. If not, you can come here and then you can upload your resume from there. So definitely, the paper version of that job needs to be uploaded there. So I encourage you to have it there. Okay, are there any further questions?
I don't see anything on the chat, but as I've promised, if there are some of you would want to ask a question live, and we would really encourage you to do so, you're welcome to raise your hand on Teams. Then I will just unmute your microphone. Thank you, Vanessa. You can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, good day, everybody. Thanks, Gideon. That was really nice. Thanks, Lisa. I actually also typed it in the box now, but I thought let me just speak as well. So I have a almost 6 year gap now in my employment, not retrenched or fired or anything. It's a deliberate decision I made to resign, leave the job and career I had and start something new. So I'm in a total new field now, still busy with the degree. How would that affect my chances of being a pro? Because now I don't have experience in my new area. And I heard what you said about putting everything out there, what you've done in the past. your volunteering job, all those type of things. But in your professional opinion, how would that look to a future employer? Me leaving a job to start something totally new.
Let me see if I can find your name again.
It's Vanessa Gideon.
So, Vanessa. All right. Yeah, that's a good question, Vanessa. If I may ask, perhaps just to explore your options in the new area or field you want to jump on, what level of employment would you like to go in as soon as you go back? Do you want to go in and start off in, you know, taking internships? Do you want to go in taking in?
I'm actually, you know, I would like to go in at the level I was or higher. I'm not that young anymore. I don't think anyone wants to employ a 46-year-old intern. So that makes it so difficult. Because I would, like I say, start same level or higher. I don't see myself doing an internship for 24 months or something like that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so my answer would be, Vanessa, there's multiples. There's obviously not a one quick fix answer to that, but you could have options, and some of the options I would mention now would be basic. You know, what you want to do is you want to get yourself out there, you know, and there's multiple ways you can get yourself out there. You could volunteer if you're willing to do that. Sometimes you have to take that knock, because if you volunteer in those areas, you're also building a network in a way. You could again go back to the thing that build yourself. I mean, while you're busy studying here, what content do you have? You know, who do you have in your connection that you could perhaps introduce yourself to again and say, you know what, I'm looking for this kind of employment, and you know, can you open doors? But I'd like to pull you, and I know I'm re-emphasizing this, pull you into you creating that content, because like I said earlier on, and I think this is a cognitive thing, people want people that are bringing solutions into their spaces. You know, even recruiters, they would position themselves like saying, you know, we are helping people with employment and doing all of these kind of things. But in retrospect, they need you. All right, there's a lot of work that's sitting there that needs to be filled in, and it needs to be filled in by people they trust and that are professionals. So what I would do, or the approach that I would take, Vanessa, you can use it or you can lose it, is my connection. I'd look at my connection at first, and let's say in my connections there's execs or managers or anything of that sort in that area, right? I'll start creating content that speaks to the job that I'm doing and that speaks to what they're doing as well. Number one. And then if I don't have that connection, but in my connection there's somebody that is an exec or is in the place that I want to be in, I'll create all of that contact and go to my connect and say, I've just written this article here in this blog post. I would like to hear one of your guys, who's your connections, there's a view on it, and then let them introduce you, and there's trust already being built, right? Trust is there. And then later on, when the relationship is created, I know this is a perfect world that I'm proposing to you, but it's worth a try. Later on, when the relationship is there and you've created a lot of content that they can see, and then you're familiar with them, and you were introduced by a person that you know share contact with, then you can go into their work page on going to their work page, and then you can see the jobs that are listed. And then if there's a job that speaks to you, then you can apply for it and ask them to endorse you in their company there. So you're using the network effect. Or if there's no listed jobs, it doesn't kill going back to the person and say, hey, are there any opportunities in this regard in your space? And I wouldn't sell myself short. It's important to be honest though, but I wouldn't sell myself short in the sense that I'm saying I'm starting afresh and it's all new and whatsoever. I would always put myself as somebody that knows a lot in that area, even if I haven't worked on it. And I would leverage my classes now at UNISA to get the content that these companies basically need. I know this is a mouthful per se, but I hope it gives you a bit of a strategy that you can use. But then again, like I said, there's different ways you can go about it, and the choice is yours. Take the control. Don't wait for a recruiter to say that you need to have 20 years experience. Once you get that experience, say you have to have a PhD or whatever. Once you have a PhD, now you are overqualified. Don't fall into that bucket. Take the control, be an expert, use the platform, create your connections in your network and the type of people you want around you, and then use the platform as well to create the solutions that these companies need, and then let them come to you. Perhaps you could sit with them and be the one that tells them that I'm worth this. They don't have to come to you and say, our job is, hiring for this much and so on and so forth. I hope that helps and answers your question.
Thank you so much. I will definitely do that. I actually haven't been on LinkedIn for a long time now. I thought it wasn't, but now listening to you, I should have been active on it. So while I'm busy studying, there's really nothing for me on LinkedIn, but I should have been more active on it now that I think about while I was studying and as I was going through this new journey with a new career path. I was supposed to be more active and build connections, which I didn't do. I totally stopped using LinkedIn. So yeah, I'll have to now go back and reconnect with my old connections, if that makes sense. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Vanessa.
Thank you, Gideon. Yeah. So just coming back to, the importance of, where you started, or the whole pitch in terms of your presentation is really to think of yourself as a brand, and the importance of networking. So I think those are the two, if I could have two key takeaways. We had a presentation by Mr. Amos Kova on Tuesday, where he spoke about networking, and one thing that really stood out there for me, which is also applicable in terms of your activity on LinkedIn, is to really be intentional. Seek out the kind of opportunities that you are busy preparing for. Seek out the people that are doing the things that you imagine yourself doing. And by just starting to build that network and an understanding of your industry or your field or different kinds of organizations, it will really encourage you to also think about how you position yourself within this environment. What kind of content, for example, do you need to create to help yourself to build your brand and to stand out to those that you need to get to know? We've got one. I'm going to ask Lungile. You're welcome to unmute and then ask your question, and then we will end off the session. Thanks, Lungile.
Yeah, thank you. Also afternoon, Mr. Gideon. Yeah, quick one. My question is, like, currently I'm doing my 4th year LLB. So I wanted to check on the article where you said we must sell ourselves, because sometimes we also do the street law, whereby we also visit the primary schools and teach them about the awareness of child bullying and violence at school. So I want to check on that article, is it possible to use those pictures and also write the content of what we're doing or on that school is the way of marketing yourself. And also I participated on the mod code. Is it advisable also to write an article based on that? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lungile, for that question. I think it's a brilliant one, right? And I think it strikes a core on my end. So the work you're doing at these primary schools, right? And I think it's something that I wouldn't say I've spent too much time going deep or delving deep into when I'm talking about building a brand and building brand equity. I think your story, building a story with all the articles and the connects and all of that is very important. So you being involved in this, I would encourage you to definitely every step of the work that you're doing when you're doing this is go back, create these articles, and share to not only your connects but people that need to know exactly what work you are doing and in these primary schools and these challenges these kids are having. And in a way, you're not basically saying that I'm a professional legal person that knows, that has LLB and all of that, but you're basically saying that I'm a person that works with these kind of communities and we are assisting them with this and that and that. So I would encourage you to perhaps in particular for those two instances, if you can have an article, like I said to everyone, if you can start now, as in yesterday, write something, put on your first one, it will create those juices to create more. Write the article about that, and then on your profile, when you have an article or two or something going on, and you've responded on the link that I sent of the article that I have, and there's a post from the people that I will reach out to that speaks to that. Obviously, they will find your account with something valuable in that regard. But I will, Lungile, take note of you as well.
Thank you very much, Gideon. So just to re-emphasize, often as we do things, we maybe underestimate, the impact that we have. We don't maybe take note of how important our engagements could be to other people. So definitely, share what it is that you are busy doing as you are studying. If it contributes to your professional brand, if it tells a story about the professional you are or that you want to be, definitely it's relevant. Maybe also just as a challenge, further challenge is that if you in your writing or in telling your story can connect, for example, the studies that you are busy doing together with this community work that you are doing, that would, for me, I would imagine that could gain you a lot of bonus points. Because it just illustrates, how you are integrating your academic work with any other activities that you are involved in. Gideon, thank you very much. I'm going to end the session there. We don't have any further questions. I have posted a link to your profile. There is a link to the article that somebody posted. So please engage on LinkedIn with Gideon. And also I will share our contact details with you. So at any stage, if you need support in terms of your career development and what we spoke about today, you're welcome to also contact us. I would just want to share some resources with you before we end off the session. So firstly, the Grad Next brochure, or it's actually a book. It's a free book that you can download, and it contains a lot of information about the what Gideon also spoke about, personal branding, but then also talking about preparing for interviews, looking for jobs, and all the other activities that you need to engage in as you are on this journey. So please feel free to also go and download that book from the link that I've provided. And then our contact details, the email address counselling@unisa.ac.za. You can also book an online appointment with us at any stage to discuss your career, but also your studies and personal development. And then just to highlight on our website, there's a lot of resources. For example, I've posted a link to a page on our website that talks about using LinkedIn, so links to further documents and videos that you can go and view. And then for further information about events, sorry, my slides are running. Further information about the events such as this one is on the My UNISA events calendar. And you are welcome to either contact myself or then my colleague, Mrs. Mandu Makanya, if you have any questions or you've got suggestions for topics that you would want us to cover. And then lastly, I just want to invite my colleague, Mr. Beki Mzobe, if you could please just end off the session for us, Beki.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and good afternoon, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our guest speaker, Mr. Gideon Mohammed, for helping us to unpack today's topic, focusing on building a brand equity with LinkedIn. Your presentation helped us to understand the importance of LinkedIn platform. Stats that you shared also indicates how big is this platform. You also touch on what is this platform used for, how to use it. My highlight is when you demonstrated how to use the platform so that students get a practical knowledge of how to use the platform. So I end by saying we safely benefited from your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful information, sir. I also like to extend my thanks to Lisa for facilitating this session very well. Thank you, Lisa. I would also like to extend my appreciation to students for joining us and participating by asking questions. Say thank you to everyone who participated and made this event a success. I say thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Becky. And I hope this is not the last time that we are engaging with you. So please keep an eye out for further presentations that we are running throughout the year, and connect with us when you need support. And thank you very much, Gideon. I think it is very generous of you to make the offer that you made in terms of also helping students to connect with others. And I hope everyone who attended, I know myself, I'm very fired up now to start writing articles. It's something that I've been struggling with, but I have definitely been inspired. Thank you very much, and you must have a good day further. Thank you.